Hey, how's it going? Hi, hey, hope you're doing well. Okay, guys, this video is gonna be a little bit different, as I say in most of my videos. In this video, we're actually going to talk about my experience of flying alone for the very first time. Well, when I flew, I was 25, but I'm 26 now. I didn't fly too long ago, it's just that I did fly the day before my birthday, actually. What does my age have to do with anything? I don't know. Maybe you can relate on how old you are, maybe you're traveling younger, maybe you're traveling older. Either way, I flew for the very first time when I was 25 years old. Again, a day before my birthday. So I really wanted to talk about this mainly because, you know, I was freaking the fuck out prior to my flight, and I want to, you know, put my experience out there just so you guys won't feel alone if you're flying for the first time, or maybe you're just curious how my experience went for the first time, or maybe you're just like want to educate yourself on what I did and how I did it and how I got through it. So first things first, I want to say I did fly through American Airlines. I don't know if the experience is different from any other air flight company thing or what, but this is how it went for this particular company. That's it. Alright, so I'm gonna tell you guys everything that I went through, everything that I did prior to the flight and during the flight, I guess when I got there and after and such. Feel free to use my experience as knowledge. I don't know again if it's the same for any other company, but this is what I did and hopefully it'll help you. If not, then enjoy my story, I guess. Okay, so, alright, so prior to the flight, let's start from there. Again, flying with American Airlines. By the way, this was not only the first time that I was flying alone, but this is also the first time that I was flying alone outside of the country. I did stay in North America, which I am from the United States. I'm from Texas. Hello, howdy y'all. And I flew to Canada, to Montreal, Quebec. And I mean, that is pretty much still a whole country across the way, even if it is in the same area thing. Anyways, again, bad with stories. How does one story? First things first was get your passport, because you know I went outside the country, so that takes a process, and that's a whole nother story. So once you get your passport, you buy your tickets. Okay, cool. You choose your airline, you choose whatever flight, whatever day, etc, etc. So 24 hours prior to the flight, what I did was go into the website and I checked in early. So I put in all my information, all my passport information, anything that was required, my ticket number, and blah blah blah. So once you put in all that information, you're checked in and they send you your boarding pass. So you can either have it in a PDF file or you can have it sent to you mobile. For me, I had it mobile because I don't have a printer at my house. I do have access to a printer too at my work, but the day before the flight, the day after the flight, no. Okay, so I flew July 5th, which July 4th is Independence Day, so July 5th we didn't have work, meaning I didn't have access to a printer, so I sent it to my mobile. Also, after doing that, I made sure to download the American Airline app. Again, I'm not too sure if every flight company has this thing, but to me, it was so useful, and I 100% recommend it. I cannot express how much this helped me throughout my entire flight. Once you checked in and everything's good, you got your digital digital pass, your printed pass, whatever. All right, cool. So the day of the flight, okay, so you know, for me, it was actually very nerve-wracking prior to the flight. Like, I think it's the anticipation of waiting for the flight, I guess, was really the nerve-wracking part. Like 2 days or 3 days prior, I couldn't sleep. Like, my heart was racing. I was so nauseous. Like, I was ready to throw up every day, every second. I didn't, luckily, but I was like, the constant feeling of like stomach turning, you know, wanting to throw up, and like the throw up was like right here. It was ready to come out, bitches. It was fucking ready to come out. So, but the day before the actual flight, I don't know. I think I kind of went into like an automatic mode, like kind of like, okay, like this is it. This is the day. Like you're gonna have to do it anyways. Might as well just get through it, you know. I don't know. I feel like my body just kind of like, I don't know. It just kind of like try to fix itself by going into automatic mode. I don't know. It was very interesting. I felt very kind of like. Not like excited, but not like nervous, more kind of like I'm ready to just get this over with kind of feeling, you know? Oh yeah, by the way, I recommend packing the day before and not the day of, so you don't feel rushed as fuck, which I did. I was smart enough to be all the responsible and make sure to pack prior to my flight day, so I wouldn't feel in a rush or whatever. So the day of the flight, I woke up and again I was in automatic mode. I was just ready. I was getting everything ready, got everything, got my charger, my passport, my wallet, you know, my suitcase. I said goodbye to my loving Seven, my pet, my loving baby, my fur child. I love her so much. And I was going to be gone for around 9 days or 8 days, and I guess I came back on the 9th day, which we'll talk about that later, I guess. So make sure you have everything. Don't forget the essentials, of course, of course, of course. The day of, I was kind of like still nervous, but I wasn't like freaking out as much as the other super close days when I was like wanting to throw up and couldn't sleep or whatever. So that was kind of helpful in a way. Kind of like sit there in my bed, like getting ready, and I mentally prepare. That's all I can do as we wait for the countdown, okay? I actually recorded a little clip prior to my flight, so let's see if I can enter it here. Today is the day that I go traveling for the first time ever by myself. This is so crazy, you guys. I've never done something this crazy before, but I'm 100% ready. I'm ready to let my wings go and fly like an eagle. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. As you can see here, I am all packed and ready to go for my flight. Hell yeah. I'm gonna miss you so much, baby. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. Boop, 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 boop. Hi. It's currently 8:45 and I'm just waiting for noon so I can call my Uber and we can make our way to the airport. This is really crazy because 1, I'm an introvert. 2, I'm a small 5-foot human. And 3, I'm scared. Oh my, oh my. I will be taking you guys on my journey and seeing my experience and how things went. I'll probably tell you guys what I did in my process and all the things, and of course when I get there. So see you at the airport. Okay, so finally the time has come. It hits 12 and my flight leaves at 3:30 or 3:50. I don't remember. I think it was one of those two. Either way, I wanted to leave 3 hours prior. So I call my Uber, and my Uber gets here. Okay, woo, we make our way to the airport. Woo, fun. We're here. We're fucking here. We're here, and I'm here all alone, a small human. And I'm just like looking around, and I'm like, here we go, motherfuckers. You know, like it's here, you can't turn back, the Uber is gone, you fucked. You fucked, which is kind of good in a way, because I mean, you know, you're forced to do what you want to do. I wanted to do this, so you know, just kind of push yourself to do what you wanted to do. And so first things first, I went to the building. I'm telling you step by step. I wanted to know details step by step prior to my flight, and I kind of did my research so I can know what to do when I get there and stuff, but not like, I don't know. It was a lot of separated info, but now here it is all in one. Anyway, sidetrack. Okay, so once I get there, I walk up to the little computer things that they have. I don't know if every airport has that. Maybe. Again, this is my experience and what I did. So when I go through the American Airlines door, you walk in and there's some like computer panel things. So I walk up to it and I'm kind of shaking, but also in neutral. I don't know, it's like the weirdest sensation that I've felt. So what I did was, there's a option that let me scan my digital boarding pass. So I entered that and it asked me for my passport again and all that information and all that stuff. So when I entered it, I had 2 flights to get to Canada. So it did print out both of my tickets for those of you who are curious. I didn't take my anyways. So at the panel, I was able to print out my tickets and also pay for my baggage that I wasn't taking on the plane. Because I checked in early and I did all that on the panel, all I had to do was give them my luggage. I didn't have to wait a line. It was kind of nice. And so luckily the guy who was taking my baggage was like, oh, okay, your gate is over there. And I was like, oh, okay, because I've actually been to this airport before. But again, I'm never on my own, and I've always gone the other way, so it was very nice of him to point the other way that I had to go. So it was very interesting. Honestly, I didn't even know there was gates on the other side. So again, I was very lucky. I mean, if I didn't find it, I probably would have asked where to go. But luckily, he just kind of told me where to go without even asking, so that was nice. Thanks, dude. I get to where the gate is supposed to be, and of course you have to cross the security line, so you gotta, you know, do the whole take off your shoes and put everything in a bucket and all that thing and blah blah. And once you get through that and get a finger up your ass, just kidding, that didn't happen to me. You get through and that's it, you're through. You're through the magical gates and you're free to roam around. And so, okay, the first thing I did was look for my gate. So I was like, okay, first things first is go to my gate so I know where to go and know where to be when it's the time. So again, I kind of arrived like at 12:30, 40-ish. So I had still like 2.5 hours to chill prior to my flight. So okay, so I find my gate, I find where my flight is going to be, where it's going to take off, where we're going to be entering and leaving and entering and entering and leaving and blah 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 blah. Okay, so there I am, just kind of alone looking around, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do for 2.5 hours? And then I'm like, oh, that's right, I'm hungry because I didn't eat breakfast because I was too busy getting ready to take off for my flight. So the first things first, I kind of just look around and try and see if there's anything near me that I would like to eat. And there was this place that was kind of like a bar and that had like sandwiches, but I got a burger instead, and I got a beer, and it was kind of nice. I got an IPA if anybody was curious, and it was really nice. If you guys, I'm not recommending to drink, but if you do drink, I just drank 1 beer, and it was like nice. It kind of like mellowed me out, and anyways, it was nice, you know, it was kind of chill. I was having me time. I was just kind of like on my phone waiting, having lunch by myself with, like, I was just kind of, it was not bad, you know. It felt kind of adulty thing to do, you know, waiting for my flight, having a beer. It was pretty chill. So that kind of like helped that, like, I wasn't nervous at all, like waiting for my actual flight like hours before. So once I do that, I go pee, and then I go back to the little section, like, where you wait, where they call, or like the area where they call you to go into the plane section thing. By the way, you can make sure you're going to the right place because it says it on your ticket. On your ticket, it says what gate you're supposed to be at. So everything's on time and everything is great. So this is where the app comes in. The app really helped me. Okay, so you know how sometimes, well, maybe for those of you who don't know, who have ever maybe not ever been to an airport, but in airports they have screens almost on every wall-ish that tell you like where all the flights are gonna be, all the gates, and what time they're taking off and coming or landing and all those things. But this app, I don't have to look at those. I have my own personal thing here. It tells me when my flight is going to take off. If it's gonna take off on time, what gate it's gonna be in. It was great. Like I said, it's so convenient. I didn't have to go to one of those panels I didn't have to go to one of those monitors at all for my entire flight thing. And all right, the time has come. It's time. They're starting to board people, and I wait my turn. I was group 6, and they call group 1, which is I think they call like first class first, and then, you know, whatever. So until my group is called, you go up and then you go into the plane, and that's it. Riding an airplane isn't super scary to me. I mean, like, it's like the idea is terrifying. Like you're 1,000 million feet on the floor and you're 1,000 million feet. The idea of flying in the air is pretty terrifying. I mean, you're up in the air. You know, at any moment, it could come down crashing, boom, crash, burn, everyone's dead, blah, 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 blah. But you also gotta remember that anything down here on Earth is just as dangerous. Being in a car, you know, there's car crashes, trains can crash too, or break down, and subways and buses, and there's danger everywhere. So pretty much just try not to freak out. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna help or not, but just don't freak out. It'll be a little bit easier if you know, you're not freaking out, I guess. Okay, so I have motion sickness, so if you have motion sickness, don't forget to take your motion sickness pills 30 minutes prior to getting onto the flight, because being on a flight is not very pleasant for your stomach if you are, you know, motion sickness, or what, if you have motion sickness rather. Anyways, they call our number and we get in and I'm on the plane. Boom, that's it. That's it. So the flight wasn't too bad, to be honest. I had the edge. I sat on the edge, like closest to the hall, I guess, the corridor of walking in and out of the plane or whatever. So that wasn't too bad. The flight, it wasn't bad. it wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it. It was a pretty smooth ride. Didn't have any issues. It was good. I think did I try napping? I don't remember. I don't remember. Since I did say I have 2 flights, I arrived first to my first destination, which was Charlotte, North Carolina, I believe. So I get there, and oh my god. Literally. As soon as I get there, okay. Actually, before getting off the plane, the captain said, like, what gates we had to be. But it's interesting because not in every other flight, the captain didn't say where our gates were. So don't rely on the captain telling you which gate you have to be. Anyways, I use my app to still, like, you know, verify that that's the gate that I have to be. Because the plane ticket that I had, normally they say, but sometimes the gate isn't on there because sometimes they change gates or whatnot. Anyways, I checked my app and the captain was correct and still, but like, you know, it doesn't hurt to double check or whatever. So I go to my gate and literally boarding in 5 minutes. Literally. Like, I had absolutely no time to go take a piss, go take a shit. I don't care. I had no time to take a rest. I had no time to breathe, motherfucker. So literally I got there and boom, they started boarding us. So you gotta really pay attention to your connecting flights and when your flights are gonna be. I got really lucky that my flights were pretty on time and you know, I didn't miss my flight. I didn't have any delays. I got really lucky. I know a lot of people are unfortunate and don't get that lucky. So it really sucks, and I'm glad that I didn't have to go through that, but I know one day I'm gonna have to go through that, and whew, I better be ready. I better fucking be ready. We board and boom, again. This time it was a 2-seater, so where did I sit? I think I sat on the yeah. I sat on the window seat because I remember once I got to Canada, it was nighttime. yeah. So okay, so my flight was from 3:30 and I arrived to Canada around 10-ish, and they're an hour ahead of me currently. So you can do the math. Again, the flight was successful. I didn't have any issues. The turbulence wasn't bad. You know, it was fine, to be honest. It was really smooth. I enjoyed it. Oh, and by the way, I got free pretzels on my ride. Okay, so this is the scary part. Kind of. Mentally, I guess, because boom, that's it. I took my 2 flights. Now we're in a different country. We're in a whole new world. We're in a whole new world. This is super foreign to me. This is very scary. Like, I've never been here before. I didn't know what to expect or anything. Like, landing, you know, once we landed, you could see, like, planes with the maple leaf sign. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm in Canada. I'm in Canada, bitches. So, once we get there, we we get off, and it's really clean in there, let me tell you. So the Austin airport was nice, and the Charlotte one wasn't. It was kind of like, I don't know, no offense to the people in Charlotte airport, I guess, but it felt like kind of dirty. Like I could just like smell the dirt in the, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone or nothing, but anyways, but when I got to Canada, everything was sparkling and clean as fuck. It smelled nice, it was very fresh, everything looked clean and sparkly, it was nice. So while we're walking down, I like to go to our area. Hold on, I really had to pee, so I peed. Okay, and anyways, going back, they had those like you know, like escalators, but like for the floor only, so you can just like walk really faster than normal, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't know what they're called exactly. Anyway, so I rode that all the way down. It was a fucking long corridor or long hallway. Like, this airport must be ginormous. So we get to the end of the hallway, and we have to go through customs, of course, because you're going in a new country and you're a foreigner and all the things. So when we get there, there's actually a bunch of computer things as well. You're going there in a line, and then the guy's like, go to one that's open, go to one that's open, go to one that's open. And I'm like, okay. So I find a computer, and then I type in my information. It pretty much just asks, like, are you bringing drugs? Are you bringing guns? Are you bringing foreign, like, raw meat or farm animals? Or I don't know. It just asks all these questions. Are you bringing millions of dollars? And, you know, just kind of things. It takes your picture, but funnily enough, I was short. So I tried taking the picture, and it had trouble taking my picture because that was so short. I don't know what that was about, but anyways, it took my picture. You know, you put in your passport information and all that stuff. So once that thing is printed out, gives you a piece of paper, they direct you to the back of the computer areas, and then there's like these officer people thing, and there is this lady. She was so sweet, but her accent was so strong. I felt like a dumbass. She was, you know, questioning me. She's like, what brings you here to Canada? And I don't want to mimic the accent because I'm not good with that. So and I don't know, like there was some times in the conversation where I was like, huh? Can you repeat that? Excuse me? I feel so dumb. But luckily she was kind of nice. And she was like I think she could tell I was nervous because I was like nervous, you know. I was there in a new country dealing with, like, you know, officers and customs. You don't want to fuck up, you know, you don't want to get in trouble, you know. So I was kind of like, I don't know, she could probably tell, like, the nervousness in my speech, probably. Anyway, she was kind of like laughing. I don't know if she was laughing with me or at me, because, you know, as I'm doing now, it's kind of like, you know. Anyways, she was nice, and once we got through that, we went by. But I'll never forget, because I'm so sorry. It's just like her accent was so strong. She was talking to me in English, but her French accent was just so strong that it was hard for me to fully understand her. I don't know, but she was nice, and thank you, random Canadian lady. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your patience and kindness. Thanks. So once she lets me through, we are taken to, like, the baggage claim. So I go and find my bag. And after I get my bag, that's it. You're free to go. You did it. You made it. I made it. I did it. I traveled across the country. I made it to a different country. I made it to Canada, and I was in a whole new world again. And that's it. I did it. It was kind of surreal. I was still kind of like neutral in a way, because I was kind of like still like just like, it was also a long day, you know. It was a long flight, 2 flights, and being in an airplane. So I was just kind of like, okay, I got my bag, everything is great. So the next thing was to find Furan and Kim. So they they graciously welcomed me to the land of Canada. So they were graciously waiting for me as of like not millions of people, exaggeration, but there was like a whole bunch of other people. It looked like they were waiting for, you know, people that were also coming in from my flight or whatever flights. So there I see them, and it was so nice to be reunited with them because last time I saw them was in PAX, so it was very sweet to see them again. I spent around 8 days in Canada, and since technically this is more of an explanation of how it was to fly on my own, I'll just kind of give a brief I'll just give like a brief synopsis. So a lot of the things I guess I'll keep for myself in our memories here, but I do want to mention like the few things that I did that were like big, I guess, you know, sure. So one of the few things is that I was able to go to this super fancy restaurant for Furan's birthday celebration. We were able to go to a spa that was so nice. It was like a pool house spa thing. There was like saunas and hammams and like saunas and hot pools and cold pools, and it was so nice. It was such a pleasant experience. I was able to hang out with their friends. It was really nice. I got to try poutine, by the way. You know, that's kind of a staple of what you're trying to do when in Canada. I think that's a thing, right? Poutine was pretty good, by the way. Me personally, I don't like American gravy, so I was really nervous on trying poutine. But their poutine gravy does not taste like American gravy. I was also kind of nervous about the cheese curds, because just the word cheese curds doesn't really sound pleasant, to be honest. But the cheese curds was actually one of the better parts of the poutine. The poutine that I got was a very meaty one. It had like ground beef, bacon, and like pepperoni or something, plus the cheese curds and the fries and the gravy. It was kind of a hefty meal. Let me tell you, I did not finish it that day. Anyways, after the poutine, we actually went to a bar that you can play some like board games. That was really nice. Overall, it was a really nice experience. Thank you guys so much. Much love to you both. I will never forget the experiences that we had together, and hopefully we will have more. Much love to you both. Okay, and then the time comes. Day 9, the final day. It was very sad. I was a little crybaby. I was like, but I'm gonna miss you guys. Last day. Okay, so my flight was at 5:50 in the morning. So that last day we did not sleep, and that last day was like our longest day, of course, because we didn't sleep at all. And for those of you who don't know, me, Furan, and Kim actually did a stream on Furan's side, and then me and Furan did another stream that time, and then just a few hours later we take off, or I take off. After that, or actually before the streams, I made sure to pack up so I wouldn't be in like such a hurry or whatever. And so once the stream was there, once the stream was done, we were just there waiting until we had to take off. I say we because they were so kind to take me to the airport. We all Ubered to the airport back. So once we got to the airport, we actually got there pretty early. We got there like at 2:40 in the morning-ish. We got there and it was the same thing. They had the panels, or actually we got there, we told the Uber which was my airline, and I still flew with American Airline, going backwards as well. So once we get there, I go through the panel and yeah. But the thing is, it didn't let me print out the baggage ticket thing. But because apparently you had to wait until the actual airport was open. Because like the airport was open, but nobody was there working. It was an interesting experience. So once there was workers there, they told us that we were allowed to pay for our baggage stuff or whatever. Once I get everything printed out, we get in a line, and the guy tells us to line up in the back to throw our baggage in a conveyor belt, but we had to wait for the conveyor belt to open as well. I don't know, that was interesting. And once my baggage was in, that's it. It was my time to say goodbye, and to see you next time. As you can imagine, it was very sad for me. As I just said, I was a crybaby. It was pretty sad for me. Merci beaucoup. But once I left, I had to wait to go through a gate. Like, I waited there forever. It felt like I waited for 2 hours. Maybe I did, honestly. Like, it felt so long just waiting at that particular waiting area. Anyways, once they gone through, or once we got through, we followed the longest line. Like, it was like the longest corridor, or like it was like the longest like maze, you know, when they have like the sticks and the thing and the separate the lines or whatever. Anyways, we did that. And so there was a guy who was kind of like directing us where to go, and so the guy told me to go this way, a certain way, and then I did the whole security thing again, take off your shoes, blah 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 blah. So once I get through that, interestingly enough, I see or they're like the computer panels again, but kind of like when I first arrived to Canada, but different. It was in a different area and there was less of them. So I do that again, and it's like, are you taking anything from Canada, and did you deal with farm animals and all that stuff again? So once I get that printed out, actually I did get this one printed out, but I still looked really bad because I was like full face of crying, and it was just, my face was swollen. It was a great picture, honestly. it was great. But this one I was able to be prepared. I was like, okay, I was short last time, so I'll be sure to tippy toe for this one. Anyways, you put in your passport information and all that stuff, blah blah blah. So it takes your picture and then it gets printed out. And once you get it printed out, I actually dealt with customs again. Actually, I originally thought I was going to deal with customs getting to the United States, but to my surprise, I dealt with customs before leaving Canada. So I went through, and then there was these men who had more of an English accent. So he was just like, "Are you bringing anything from Canada?" And I was like, no. No. And he was like, okay. He was like, you can go through, and I was like, oh, thanks. he kept the paper, by the way. they keep the printed paper that the panels give you or whatever, and that's it. I go through, and I go through, and I found, or like, the airport was so huge. It was interesting. Again, everything was so clean and spotless, and it was interesting. It was an interesting vibe since it was like at 5:30 in the morning. There was a bunch of stores barely opening. Like, it was just kind of quiet, and everyone's like sleepy, and everyone's just like, I don't know. It was an interesting experience leaving at 5:30 in the morning. So the first things first was to find my gate. So I go and I find my gate, and it's at the very fucking end of the airport. Literally the last, I'm not even kidding, it was the last flipping gate at the airport. So okay, I was like, okay, I found it. I know where I have to be. I know where I gotta be at whatever time. So I go back and I actually order like an $11 fucking sandwich. But you know, it was breakfast. I needed food. I was hungry as shit. And once I get my food, I go back and I wait until I had to take off. Me personally, I wasn't scared going back. I was more nervous getting to Canada because I really didn't want to screw up. I didn't want to miss my flights. I wanted to get there. But getting back was more relaxing because I was like, okay, if I mess up, that's fine. I'm going home. I'm not missing anything. I'm not wasting any days or whatever. So it was a little bit more relaxing for me. So I get on the plane and I'm tired as shit because I haven't slept, and I think that was the first time I stayed up in semi 24 hours ish. In a very long time. But once I got on there, I tried to sleep, but man, oh man, it was really hard to sleep because I don't know why. The first flights, like, my ears were fine, but this flight, like, when I tried to sleep, I woke up by immense pain from the ear popping. Like, it was so bad. Like, it was really hard to sleep, but I was just so exhausted. Like, I kept trying and my head was bobbing, and I was like, I can't, I have to try and sleep, I'm dying. But also my ears were in so much pain. Like, that's the worst pain I've had for my ears, like, flying. Like, in all the times that I've ever flown like that was really painful for whatever reason. I was kind of able to sleep in and out for a bit. The flight wasn't too long. It was like an hour. I think I went to Philadelphia, which was my connecting flight. Again, I had 2 flights. Once we arrived, again, that's when I was, to my surprise, I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to deal with customs. It was just the one time, or I guess the second time. before I left from Canada. I was really scared because the Philadelphia airport was actually pretty big as well, and I was kind of intimidated and lost. But here again, here's the app that helped me, the American Airline app. Not only does it tell you the gate number, but it has a map. It gave me a map of the airport, and it even has directions. So like it doesn't follow you per se, but it tells you where you have to go from your certain area. So with that, it helped me out a lot. And luckily, since that flight, like the connecting flights, wasn't as short as mine from Charlotte, the one that I had only 5 minutes before boarding, this one I had actually like an hour or 30 minutes or so. So I was able to pee and stuff before getting on the plane. I was there hanging out with a bunch of people, and just waiting for my flight, my next flight, and that's it. They called my flight, and I got on my final flight to home. And I got on there, and then there was a guy sitting next to me who kept trying to talk to me, and I was like, you fucking bitch, don't fucking talk to me. I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to random people personally. So I don't know. So I just tried putting on my headphones to, you know, this is a signal, don't fucking talk to me. Even though I didn't really listen to anything. I didn't really want to have conversation. The worst part is I was sitting in the middle for this flight, and it was so long. It felt like the longest flight. Anyways, I tried napping. I put down the tray and I put my bag on top, and I tried sleeping, and it was so uncomfortable being in the middle. Ugh, so bad. If you can not sit in the middle in planes, don't fucking do it. Don't do it. I forgot to mention, in the first flight I had a window seat in the morning, but I didn't even get to see outside much because I was trying to sleep with my ear pain and stuff. Anyways, once we arrived there, he's like, he sees like our Texas flag on the outside of the airports, and he's like, damn, I love this state. Anyways. I mean, I love my state too, but I'm not like that, like, damn, I love my country, saying it, or my state, all out loud randomly in the airplane next to a stranger. You know? I don't know. Okay, sure, whatever. You do you. But anyways, we arrived and it was fine. That flight was okay, other than being in the middle and being really uncomfortable. It was fine. Like, that one didn't have that much. I don't think I had that much turbulence in general in any of them. The only problem I had was the ear popping for that one flight for whatever reason. It was, I don't know. I get there, and then I was like, okay, I know this airport for the most part. It's the Austin airport, so I go to baggage claim and I get my bag, and then I was kind of confused here because I've never left that airport from an Uber. So I actually had to ask someone. I was like, where do you go to get picked up from an Uber? and interestingly enough, I had to go across the street into a garage, and then I had to go up on the second floor and walk to a certain area to get picked up there. And I get picked up from an Uber, and I get home, and I made it. I made it to my room. I say hello to Seven, and Seven is, again, as I mentioned earlier, my fur child, and luckily, you know, some pets can act mad or lovingly, and luckily my baby was loving when I got home. She wasn't mad at me. She received me well. I plopped on my bed, we cuddled, and napped away. and then that's it. I successfully flew across the country on my own for the first time as a 25/26-year-old small 5-foot human person thing. But thank you to Furan and Kim again for motivating me to do that. I never would have thought I would do that, so that was nice. That's a good XP points for my adulthood, so thank you again for motivating me, and once again and again, thank you for letting me stay at your place and giving me all the memories and all the love. It was very loving. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Overall, my experience of flying alone for the first time was not bad. It was not bad. It went well. Again, I didn't have any delayed flights. I didn't have any issues. I didn't lose my bag. Everything was on time. And again, this Won't happen always. I know this. I know flight companies, there are sometimes delays and flight or baggage issues and anything can happen. But luckily for me, my first flight, it was a success. And I don't know, like, I wouldn't mind doing it again. It wasn't bad. Just any tips I have for you is make sure you check in prior, make sure you do your research, make sure if your flight company has an app, I recommend downloading it, ask any questions when you're there, read signs, read the monitors, anything. Like, there is help there on the internet and in person. I am an introverted, shy human. If I can fly across the country alone, then you can too. I wish you luck, and I wish you all the safe travels if you are taking this advice for you yourself for flying, or if you're just listening to my story. Thank you for listening. I had a wonderful time in Canada, and I can't wait to do more traveling. Thank you, everyone. Much love, and I'll see you all in the next one. Love you guys. Bye. Peace.